The mere fact that I'm exercising my legal rights does not make me uncooperative. You've got much better things to do to fuck me. Every single cop in this nation is a liar.
This brave man is a former police officer who refuses to back down and stands up for his rights, exposing these incompetent cops for their misconduct. Stay tuned until the end to see how these corrupt pigs get brutally humbled by these individuals.
Now we get to meet one another. How are you doing? What's going on with you following? Are you an investigator of some sort?
Can I ask why you pulled me over, sir?
I pulled you over because the young ladies came over there and said you've been following her since she left the airport yesterday. So I want to know who you are.
Have I committed a crime?
No, but I'm conducting an investigation. Have you been following that young lady? I mean, if you're an investigator, investigate away. But if you're somebody harassing her or stalking her, that's against the law. Me pulling you over to find out who you are is me doing my job.
You mind getting that light out of my eyes?
Sir, it's nighttime. I don't know you from Adam's house cat. I don't know if you have weapons in here.
You see both my hands right here.
Well, I don't know if you have weapons in here, man. So I'm gonna keep my flashlight right here where it is. I don't have it in your face. That would be in your face. I have it down. I'm trying to show you that respect. I'm illuminating the vehicle for my safety.
Mike wasn't just a private investigator, he was a certified interrogator with law enforcement experience. Yet officers believe that they could outsmart him.
Now, would you agree that I've answered every question you've asked me? And all I asked you was one simple question.
Am I free to go?
No, you are not. Not until I find out who you are. I'm conducting an investigation. Do you have your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance on you?
Have you pulled me for a traffic violation, sir?
No, sir. I've already explained that to you. Now, you can play the back and forth rigmarole all you want to. I've explained to you why I pulled you over.
Okay, and you didn't have PC. I'm not suspected of committing a crime.
The probable cause is that you've been following this young lady, and she.
You know that, sir? Did you see that? Did you see that, Deputy?
Came back by. Why'd you come back by?
I don't have to answer questions.
Okay, you don't have to answer questions. Okay, you do have to identify yourself.
Sir, if you suspect me of committing a crime or about to commit a crime, I have to identify myself. You have no probable cause to pull me for a traffic violation. I asked you why you pulled me.
Because the young lady said that you've been following her since yesterday.
So you believe everything everyone says to you?
Mike had done nothing wrong, but the cops' weak approach only led to an unnecessary confrontation.
Will you conduct right away, sir? At this point in time, I elect to not say anything. I elect to speak to say anything without having my attorney present. That would be Eric Friday.
Call him. Tell him to come up here. We're at the 8100 block of Arlington Express.
Just so you're aware, you're being videotaped.
I do not care. Do you get my good side? My right side is usually my best side.
Yeah, there's no good side on the cop's face.
Well, you're one of those people.
Yeah, one of those people. Yeah, and you're one of those people, right? Gun and badge grant extra rights, right?
No, it doesn't grant me an extra right.
Yeah.
How about you do
your job and honor your oath?
Telling me that somebody's been following her since yesterday? Yeah, I'm gonna investigate.
Yeah, and you just take everything everyone comes up to you. Okay, I just said someone pull a gun on me. You gonna go investigate that?
I sure would. Who pulled a gun on you?
Yeah.
Someone pull a gun on you?
I don't answer questions, Deputy.
You don't answer questions. You just stalk young ladies. Just stand by them.
The deputy refused to identify himself and quickly left. But what happened next was even more telling. Multiple officers arriving at the scene.
Your name and badge number, Deputy? Your name and badge number, Deputy? The guy that pulled me over is leaving. Am I free to go, Deputy? Am I free to go?
No, sir, not yet.
What am I being detained for, sir?
Hey, when I get around to get my car where it needs to be, I'll explain to you.
No, someone's saying that you're claiming your stock of it. What is that, are you an investigator or anything?
Okay, let me make this clear, sir. I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm not giving you gentlemen a hard time.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
So I'm going to roll this window up, okay?
Okay.
I'd like to know...
Someone's alleged...
Let me speak for a moment, sir.
Go ahead.
No disrespect.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like for you to articulate what crime you suspect me of committing or what crime you suspect me of about to commit.
Now, Mike knew his rights and refused to back down no matter how much pressure the cops put on him.
No, we just have a reasonable suspicion to figure out what's going on here.
No, sir. So you don't get to detain me to figure out if I've committed a crime, sir. The law and the statute states, in order for you to detain me, you must have reasonable, articulable suspicion that either I have committed.
Yeah, we have probable cause.
What is your probable cause?
We got a complaint that we got that the red.
That's not probable cause, sir. What crime do you suspect me of committing?
Stalking.
And you suspect me of committing stalking?
That's what I want to know. Were you anywhere near this? Near this?
I don't answer questions.
Do you know who she is?
I do not answer questions.
She has no idea.
If you're going to articulate that you suspect me of committing a crime and have reasonable suspicion of that,
if you don't agree with it, if you don't agree with our probable cause,
your name and badge number, sir.
Sir, what's your name?
Your name and badge number, sir.
well, you gonna remember?
How about all you're being recorded? I've got 4 cameras in this truck.
You're
You're required by policy to issue your name and badge number. I'm going to ask you what. I'm speaking to this gentleman right now. I'll get your name and badge number in a minute. Your name and badge number.
The officers had no legal right or any reasonable suspicion to keep him, yet they refused to acknowledge it. It is concerning how ignorant and power-hungry cops are.
What's your name?
I just told you.
I didn't hear it because I'm sitting here speaking
Well,
to
you're
this
recording
gentleman.
it so you can pick it up later.
So I'm going to ask you once again. If you want to be a smart about it, I'll file an internal affairs case on you.
I gave it to you once already.
I didn't hear it. I'm asking you once again, so to extend some professional courtesy and treat me with the respect I deserve.
I did.
What is your name and badge number?
Well, here's
Hey,
the thing,
Libertino,
sir. I
badge
gave you
number
mine.
70051.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Deputy. Was that so hard?
No.
Your name and badge
That's
number,
the
sir.
second time.
When I give you my name and badge number,
Can I have your name?
Name and badge number, sir.
Lou, hang on.
I'd like to have your name, sir.
See, the thing is, sir, the law states I don't have to give my name and information unless you suspect me of committing a crime.
I don't.
Then am I free to go? Because this is an illegal detainment.
At this time.
This is an illegal detainment.
Okay.
My attorney, Mr. Eric Friday, would love to bring up a civil lawsuit against you in the city for this illegal detainment.
Sir.
When officers violate your rights and refuse to admit it, it only highlights how deep corruption and abuse of power runs in the system.
We're not trying to upset you.
I'm not
We
upset.
had a radio call. Let me give you.
Go right ahead, sir.
We got a radio call that a vehicle matching this description of your vehicle was harassing someone in a short sense. Okay. Don't know what's transpired. We don't know anything about it. Your car meets what we were told, and that's why we're questioning you.
Okay.
And that's very simple. All we need to do is just ask you your name and the car and where you've been.
May I ask how my name is going to establish whether I've harassed someone or not?
You ask for our name. It would be nice to have your name as well.
It would be, but see, I don't.
And you don't have to give it.
I appreciate
now
you saying that, sir.
All right, you don't have to give it now, but we just like to know, so we can, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
My name's Mike, sir. You can address me as Mike.
Okay, that's fine, Mike. That's a great beginning.
All right.
And the reason why is because, like I said, your car matches the description we were given.
I respect
Doesn't
that.
mean
I respect
you're guilty.
that. I respect that. You're
doesn't
talking
mean
to an
you're
ex-law
guilty.
enforcement officer here, buddy.
These officers thought asserting rights meant refusing to comply, until Mike proved them wrong. Just watch as he teaches them a lesson they won't forget.
We're not saying you're guilty of anything. We didn't say that.
Then
We're
you
not
are illegally
intimating it.
detaining me. I asked the
sir.
last deputy that left, what was his reason for stopping me? He didn't stop me for traffic.
I just tell you now-
Let me calm down. I
Did
shouldn't be yelling at you.
Thank you.
I shouldn't be doing
And
that.
I'm not yelling at you.
This
right?
deputy that stopped me, sir, did not articulate he was stopping me for a traffic violation. Then
No.
I asked him what his probable cause was, or what crime he suspected me of committing, or
No.
what reasonable crime, or reasonable
It's not
suspicion.
the case. The case is, as I stated, is that we had a description of a vehicle. Your vehicle matched that, and we're just here to determine, no, you're not the one, or yes, you are the one. Very
But see, the
simple.
law protects me. I don't have to answer questions.
No, yes, sir. But
you-
we're asking for your cooperation.
Mhm.
And can we get that cooperation?
I'm cooperating. The fact that I extend my rights doesn't mean I'm not cooperating, sir.
This is a clear example of why citizens should stand up for their constitutional rights, especially when the government outweighs our freedom.
Would you agree with that, sir?
But I don't understand it. If you said you're an ex-law enforcement officer, and you understand that when somebody calls us and says, hey, this vehicle was following me, okay? And we stop you, and we ask you questions regarding you, either you did or you didn't.
Correct.
Wouldn't you think a citizen, if they weren't doing anything wrong, would say, no, I'm not doing
But
that,
see,
or
sir,
whatever?
as a law enforcement officer, I realize how LEOs twist people's words.
No, we're not.
Let me finish speaking, okay?
Yes, please do.
They twist people's words. any attorney, and all you three gentlemen will know, you don't
Lawyers
ever
do the same
speak
thing.
to the cops.
I want to hear what he got to say.
You don't ever talk to cops. Never. You never talk to cops unless you're legally obligated to. Nothing good can come from that. I'm very well of my rights, very well aware of my rights. Now, I understand you're doing no fault with that. You are doing your job.
Okay.
And the mere fact that I'm exercising my legal rights does not make me uncooperative. Okay?
Mike stands his ground with absolute authority, showing these officers what it means to know and exercise his right.
Now, the fact that someone called you and said they're harassing doesn't give you the general order just to stop people.
No, that wasn't the reason why. Because a person in a vehicle that matched your description was doing that. We didn't say you were doing it.
Okay.
And that's what we're coming down to.
But how do you define harassing? Someone just called says they were
I
harassing.
didn't-
Did you ask her what they did? Did you ask the person?
She said a red truck, pickup truck was following her since she came in town.
Is that a crime?
We haven't determined that. We just want to make sure.
Do you see where I'm going with this, sir? I mean, I understand. You guys are doing your job, but do you see how this goes? I'm aware of my rights. You do not have, or excuse me, you have the right to ask me whatever question you want.
You're really enjoying this.
I'm not enjoying anything. You know what I am enjoying? How you officers fail to realize that those badges and those guns don't give you the right to violate other people's rights. Sir, you are. I've articulated to you that you are illegally detaining me.
Now, you have got to give it to Mike. He handled the situation perfectly. He stood firm, refused to be intimidated, and kept his cool while asserting his right.
And because you choose to abuse your authority and not recognize that what I'm saying is a fact, you are illegally violating my rights.
To question you, to find out if you are the one or not the one that was violating this other woman's rights.
But I've made it clear, sir, I'm not going to answer questions. I've made it clear I'm not. You don't get to. Yes, sir. The fact that I'm exercising my rights does not mean I'm not cooperating, sir.
Yes, it does.
It does not. It absolutely does not. Now, if I was doing something against the law or resisting you in some manner...
We can't determine that.
But you don't get to question me so I can give you information so you can make a case or not a case. I'm not saying I am this person, I'm not saying I am not this person. But what you fail to realize is I do not have to speak to you, sir. And that does not give you the right to detain me until you get some information to charge me with a crime. You don't get to search and search until I say something or you twist something I say to use it against me.
Shockingly, officers pledge to uphold the Constitution without ever understanding the rights that they swear to protect.
You gentlemen have a dangerous job. There is 19 unsolved murders in this city. Okay? You've got much better things to do to me. Okay? I'm not a threat to anyone.
We're not here.
What? Sir, there's 5 cops here. The gentleman that pulled me, and if he had any reasonable articulate suspicion, is no longer here. I'm assuming, I don't know where he is or where he's gone. You 3 gentlemen have no first-hand information. No first-hand information. This officer that pulled me over said he spoke with some individual that says apparently I was doing something was classified as harassment.
That's not what we said. We didn't say you.
You didn't say that. I said that officer.
That your vehicle was told.
Now, were you here? See this camera here?
Yes.
That officer stood here and said he spoke to a woman that said I was harassing her and following her for days. I didn't say you 3. The black gentleman, the gentleman that was here a few moments ago, that has now left the scene. So once again, gentlemen, hold on. Let me calm down.
Go ahead.
All 3 officers were left speechless, frantically trying to figure out how to get through, but none could match his knowledge and resolve.
Once again, gentlemen, if you have a reasonable articulate suspicion of me committing a crime or about to commit a crime, you have a right to detain me, ask me for my ID, which I will oblige you with, as I'm required by law. Short of that standard, you are illegally detaining me. I've asked to be free to go, and you are telling me until I give you some information, I'm not free to go. That is a violation of my rights, sir. Do you understand that?
He's the one that's going to give us your ID. That's all it is.
You know what, guys? I would love to give it to you because I used to be one of them. But because I'm aware of my rights and because of my life experiences with law enforcement, I choose to exercise my rights. Not to be difficult, sir. You guys have much more better things. See, this is it, because people don't know their rights. And because LEOs, I don't know you three gentlemen personally. I quit a department because I ratted out the crook cops that worked with me. Okay?
What is frightening is that the only thing keeping these officers from escalating further was the camera recording them, and the fact that Mike was an ex-cop.
I'm sick of it. The corruption is everywhere. Every single cop in this nation is a liar. All right? I used to be one of them.
And you're calling 3 of us liars.
Yes, sir.
Just another example of officers twisting literally anything just to make someone look guilty.
If you're going to stand here and tell me you've never falsified, twisted a report just for your benefit, or provided false information, or saw one of your fellow brothers in blue violate someone's rights or do something wrong, by the mere fact of you withholding that information and not going to your supervisor makes you a liar.
I did not.
In your life, you've never, ever lied. You've never, ever lied in your entire life.
Well, that's something. Are you talking as a police officer or as a human being?
As a police officer, you've never lied in your life. Sir, you're allowed to lie in investigations. The Supreme Court has ruled you're allowed to lie. So your credibility just went out the window for me. I'm a certified interrogator, buddy. Don't sit here and play this game with me. You just lost your credibility. Now, any respectable person would say, of course I've lied. I've lied in the line of duty. I've lied in my personal life. I got more integrity in my finger, buddy, than you've got in your whole body.
Okay, sir.
Wow, that has got to be one of the most shocking conversations ever. One man calls all cops liars, and the officers silently nod in agreement. That is truly wild.
Back to my original question
Yes,
when
sir.
I first got here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you following somebody?
I don't answer your question, sir.
Okay.
Am I free to go?
Yes, you're free to go.
Thank you.
He put them in their place without hesitation. One of the most satisfying walks of shame I have ever seen. Now that was a wild ride, and these next cops, they just showed a whole new level of stupidity.
I don't like your attitude. You come in here, you're supposed to be investigating. You should be asking me questions. Learn your job, dude. I'm tired of you cops not knowing what your job is.
On February 12, 2025, Auditor Jeff Gray stood outside Riviera Beach City Hall holding a sign supporting homeless veterans. Instead of respecting his rights, a security guard chose to interfere.
I'm sorry, you have to speak up. I can't hear well. Why that? Why's that? What's that? Yeah, solicitation's free speech. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Yeah. Why would you do that?
Because you cannot do it.
It's free speech.
You cannot do it.
It's free speech. This is City Hall property.
When it comes home, you let it go.
All right, you don't have to call the cops, man.
I'm telling you,
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
That's what I'm saying, sir.
I have a right to be here. This is free speech. You do have a choice. You can just leave me alone. That's the funny thing about it.
Yeah, because then again, people are going to come through here and say,
You don't have to-
this guy is doing this. Then it's gonna be
You don't
my
have to
problem.
snitch, man.
Then it's going to be me.
You don't have to snitch.
The guard used threats right away, warning Jeff about calling the police even though he had no reason to escalate the situation. This shows how easily power can be abused.
I'm not snitching. You're not supposed to do it.
Yes, I am. I have every right to be here just as much as anybody else does.
Okay, so when the cops come,
I can explain it to them, okay?
How are you doing, sir?
I'm all right, how are you?
I guess we got a complaint that you're asking customers for money, or you're bothering customers, or something?
I'm not bothering customers.
Okay, what's going on?
I'm just out here spreading the message. God bless homeless veterans.
They don't want your presence here right now because I guess some people are feeling uncomfortable with you coming up and they're making complaints to them, and that's why they called me. So, are you conducting any business here? Or?
Like I explained to them, I am conducting business. I'm engaged in freedom of speech, freedom of religion on a traditional public forum, and I have just as much right to be here as anybody else.
Yeah, you do, but you have to be conducting business. And this is the city hall, so that's why, just give me a second. I'm gonna wait for my partner to get here.
A police officer showed up a few moments later, but just like the security guard, she disregarded Jeff's rights instead of defending them.
Yeah, like I said, I'm engaged in free
I
speech.
understand that, and you're allowed to do your freedom of speech and whatnot, but obviously this is a timely hour where people are conducting business and they're not
Yes.
really comfortable with you coming up.
Normal business operating hours. Yeah.
Okay, so, but they're not comfortable with
What's
that.
the uncomfortable law?
Give me a second, let me just wait
Okay.
till my partner gets here.
How you doing, sir?
You got ID?
Why do I need to give you ID?
Double check something.
What?
He's recording. Just heads up.
What's going on?
He's recording too.
A yes or no question. Do you have ID?
Of course I have ID.
Can I have it, please?
No. I'm engaged in constitutionally protected activity on a traditional public forum.
I didn't ask you anything else. I just asked you for your
Okay,
ID.
well, I'm just letting you know.
No. Thank you.
The officer clearly did not expect resistance, and when Jeff refused to comply, his unprofessionalism only worsened.
I mean, well, I'm just letting you know, I'm engaged in constitutionally protected activity on a traditional public forum. There's freedom of speech.
Thank you for sharing that.
What's your name?
It's Officer Brown.
What's your badge number?
4994.
Okay, what's your, are you body cam recording? What's your attitude, man?
I asked you a simple question. That's it.
Dan, I'm just trying to have a conversation with you. Don't put your hands up to me like that.
I don't need a conversation.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to the hand then. I don't like your attitude, man. But I will put you on notice that if you guys remove me from this property, you will be held accountable. Jackass.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Jackass. I don't like your attitude.
I didn't hear you.
Jackass. I called you a jackass. I don't like your attitude. You come in here, you're supposed to be investigating. You should be asking me questions.
I did ask you.
You asked me for my ID.
Yes, sir.
Is my ID going to tell you whether a crime is afoot? Is my ID, you want me? Hold on a second. It's in my pocket. I'll get my ID out for you.
When Jeff called out his bad attitude, the cop was taken aback. Instead of handling the situation calmly, he doubled down on his rude behavior.
I'm tired of you cops not knowing what your job is. Straight to ID. So just so you know, I'd like to stay and enjoy my freedom of speech rights. But if they do say that I'm trespass, you give me a trespass warning, I'll leave.
I think my partner asked for ID. You refused to give it?
Yeah, I'm not committing a crime.
Did you refuse to give the ID? That's what I asked.
Yeah, I'm refusing to give ID. I'm not committing a crime.
So in order for us to trespass you, we got to get your ID.
No, you don't. You just trespass me.
No, because in our we give a CAD. So then if you come back, then you get arrested for
It's a civil matter.
That's how you see it. Civil matter or not?
No, that's how the courts see it.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you.
That's how the law sees it.
Okay.
If you trespass me, I leave. I'm not giving you ID.
Okay.
Despite their lack of knowledge of the law, these officers stubbornly defended their mistake, exposing their ignorance for all to see.
So am I good to go, man?
There's other things to do in the city right now.
Am I good to go? No answer, just gonna walk away. Completely unprofessional. So they got the word to leave me alone, and they can't bring themselves to be big enough to say, yes sir, you're good to go. There's better things to do in the city right now. You're damn right there's better things to be doing in the city right now than harassing a person who is engaged in freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly on a traditional public forum. There they go, tucking their tails and running.
Moving on, this clueless cop tried to harass an individual, completely unaware that his attorney was right there, ready to tear him apart.
Hello, officer.
Have you had anything?
Hello.
I'm not talking to you. Who are
I'm
you?
his attorney, sir.
Okay, well, he can talk to you after the traffic stop,
That's
man.
right.
Cops are often known for their aggressive demeanor and bizarre confrontation tactics. Today we will look at cases where corrupt and clueless officers were completely owned and embarrassed by exceptional attorneys. Kicking things off with this corrupt cop who had no idea an attorney was on the video call. He pulled over a driver and aggressively tried to intimidate him, only to get a reality check.
I'm not talking to you. Who are
I'm
you?
his attorney, sir.
Okay, well, he can talk to you after the traffic
He
stop,
has the
man.
right to have his attorney present during any questioning by police.
Hey, for just a minute here, you said you've had nothing to drink this evening.
Hello, officer.
Have you had anything?
Hello.
I'm not talking to you. Who are
I'm
you?
his attorney, sir.
Okay, well, he can talk to you after the traffic
He
stop,
has the
man.
right to have his attorney present during any questioning by police.
That's fine, but I'm not going to talk to you right now. All right, so what I'm going to need you to do is perform a couple steps or a couple tests for me, okay?
Field sobriety tests are voluntary, sir.
Ma'am, I'm not
I'm
talking
talking
to you.
to my client.
The Attorney Shield app ensures the officer has nowhere to hide and gets absolutely battered by the all-knowing lawyer. And if this wasn't enough, this next confrontation will leave you stunned.
Do you recall learning that alcohol actually does not have a smell?
I don't recall that.
In 2018, famous DUI defense attorney Larry Foreman was up against a confident police officer who had arrested his client for DUI. Shockingly, the officer had not conducted the complete field sobriety test, and Larry was about to take him to the cleaners.
You've been doing this quite a while, 16 years, is that right?
I feel like that's a substantial amount of time, yes.
I would agree. That means you said recertify. You went to Richmond 16 years ago, I presume?
Correct.
And there you were given, was it, you said a 22-week course at the time?
Yes, sir.
I think they've since changed that. I think it's a little bit longer now, but...
I think it's went longer and then went shorter, and
yeah,
homeland security issues that we had to go through. And
in your training, do you remember being taught to write your reports and make them as complete and as accurate as possible?
That's correct.
In the future, a jury may rely on it, right?
It's basically our field notes, and it's our report for what happened on the scene.
The jury would rely on it, wouldn't they, at some point?
I don't know if the jury relies on it.
The client, Mr. Woods, was initially pulled over for speeding and was made to stand out in the freezing cold without a jacket on.
Mr. Woods passed you, which you later determined was, by pacing him at least,
Correct.
10 miles over the speed limit.
That's correct.
Okay. But you've stated that you've detected the odor of alcohol coming from the vehicle.
Yes.
Okay. And did you ask him out of the vehicle immediately right then, or did you go back to the car, radio for backup? What procedure did you follow?
Actually, I don't remember. Normally, if I observe an odor of alcoholic beverages, I'll ask the subject to exit the vehicle at that point. I don't remember in that case. I know that you said that I walked back and got back into my vehicle. I don't remember doing that, but...
As expected, the officer conveniently couldn't remember anything the defense attorney asked him, but soon the questioning shifted to the crucial field sobriety test.
You stated that eventually you got Mr. Woods to perform the HGN, also known as the horizontal gaze nystagmus test.
That's correct.
And I remember, because I wrote it down, on direct, you've stated, quote, alcohol can cause nystagmus, right?
That's correct.
And there are other causes of nystagmus as well. Do you remember being taught at the academy?
I'm not a medical doctor, and I do remember that, and I think there are some other, CP being one, inhalants being one, and if I'm not mistaken,
are you aware that heredity or diet can also create nystagmus?
Never heard that.
What about caffeine?
I know that there had been some research done on caffeine, and I think that was, if I'm not mistaken, I remember them saying that they didn't believe that affected nystagmus.
What about eye muscle fatigue? What about extreme chilling?
I haven't heard that either, sir.
The very basis of the arrest. Apart from the eye test, the officer did not administer any other tests and just went on to arrest the suspect for DUI. Larry had a few more challenging questions for the officer.
Do you remember, I know it's been a long time, as a matter of fact, I'm going to ask this question before I ask my next one. 16 years ago, you completed the 40 hours, which is standard in Richmond to this day to complete for the standardized field sobriety and DUI detection training.
That's correct.
Did you ever recertify at any point? Because you can recomplete A-RIDE, which is the Advanced Roadside Impairment Driving Education.
I have had the Advanced DUI course. I don't know when. It's been years ago that I have had the Advanced DUI training course. I have completed parts of the 40-hour course again. Maybe the whole course, I'm not sure, on the field sobriety test.
Do you remember when that was? I'm just trying to get a feel.
It's been years.
So in that course, one of the points, and that's why I was asking, why I was gauging the timeline here, do you recall learning that alcohol actually does not have a smell?
I don't recall that. I know I can observe an alcoholic beverage. I can't tell you what alcohol beverage it is, but I think most of us have smelled an alcoholic beverage before.
The officer was really questioned by the lawyer, and he made sure to teach him a timely lesson before calling it a day.
Mr. Woods never asked for you to repeat the implied consent?
Not that I recall.
Prior to asking him to submit to the breath test, which he refused. And then you've also stated that it appeared to you that he understood everything.
He didn't ask me. As far as I remember, if he would have asked something, I would have listed it in the report, but obviously he didn't ask anything, so...
Those are all the questions I have, Your Honor.
Eventually, the jury ruled in the favor of the defendant, and he got no jail time or any license suspension, surely showing how great of an attorney Larry is. Now moving on, here is another instance where the attorney shield helped protect a civilian from police misconduct.
So, Mr. Ward, you understand that they don't have a right to search your home without a warrant?
You're not searching anything on this property without a warrant.
In August of 2024, York County police officers pulled over a young couple after a road rage incident. The other party claimed they had been threatened with a gun. As officers stood outside their residence, the girl's father arrived with some crucial advice.
Why aren't y'all recording?
We recorded the people following.
No. You get pulled over, pull your cameras out and record them and get name and badge numbers. You know you're blocking traffic, right? You know that bus had to go in the grass to get around you, right? Which is illegal.
Get around it. So you're welcome to banter, record, berate me. It's not going to change what I'm doing out here.
I don't give a fuck what you're doing. You're blocking traffic.
Okay.
I couldn't get around you, and the bus couldn't get around you. Anybody can ride down the street and say they saw a gun. You can be his little bodyguard all you want. Just stay out of my camera.
Who's the
name and badge number?
It's Sergeant Good, number 14.
The father, who was later identified as Bob, was not messing around. He immediately stood up for his daughter's right. Now, making things worse, Sergeant Good insisted that he needed to search the house.
Okay, so you live here. Sir, I'm not your enemy. Okay, I understand you're apprehensive. You got a whole bunch of cops here and everything else. I understand that. I'm not here to bust your chops. I'm not accusing you of anything.
I don't give a fuck what you're doing.
So it is he said, she said at this point. Okay.
Yep.
But we also have to look at the motivation behind that call. Does that happen every day that just somebody randomly just picks out some random vehicle and says, hey, they did whatever?
Does it happen?
It can happen, but does it happen all the time?
So
No,
go get a warrant.
Okay, well then that's what we'll do.
You have to get a warrant.
Okay. All right,
You're not searching anything on this property without a warrant.
What we're going to do, though, in the meantime, because there's a firearm involved, alleged to be involved, is that we're going to do a protective sweep of the residence. We can do that without a warrant, okay? We're going to make sure there's nobody in there with a loaded gun waiting to shoot us out the windows, okay?
There isn't.
Well, I can't take your word for it.
And you can't search that. You're not searching the house.
Well, Bob wasn't only extremely well versed on the law, but he also had attorney shield with him. He immediately got an attorney on the call, and now the sergeant was up against her.
This is Attorney. How do I see you requested support for a traffic stop today? Is that correct?
Yeah, my daughter was pulled over, and now they want to search the house.
Hey, I'm Sergeant Good with the York County Regional Police Department. Are you his representing attorney?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So what we have is we had a road rage incident where somebody described a pistol with extended magazine was pointed at them from a vehicle that's here in the driveway. The people that are here in the driveway, the police officers got here and saw them go into the house. And we want to try to confirm whether there's somebody in the house with an extended magazine pistol that was waving it at people or not.
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Ward, you understand that they don't have a right to search your home without a warrant, correct?
I told them they cannot enter the house without a warrant.
Well, there's a difference between entering the house and doing a protective sweep to make sure there's not somebody in there pointing a gun at me right now. We wouldn't be searching the house. We'd be first doing a protective sweep, making sure there's no other people in the house that would do us harm. Then after that, we would apply for a search warrant to search the house for evidence.
Out of nowhere, the sergeant claims that they aren't feeling safe and would need to conduct a safety check of the house. But here is when the attorney really takes him to a law class.
But you understand that he doesn't have to give you permission to enter his home unless you have a warrant.
Correct. For searching it. The protective sweep, I believe there's plenty of case law saying that we can make sure there's nobody armed and dangerous in there waiting to hurt us.
You know, it is his private property, so unless you have a search warrant, you don't have a right to enter his home.
Okay, we might agree to disagree on that point for entry, but anyway, we'll apply for a search warrant, and as long as these people all stay out here, maybe we don't need to do a protective sweep, and we'll just apply for the search warrant. So, all right, very good. Thank you.
No worries. You have a great day, sir.
It didn't take long for the attorney to take control of the situation. The sergeant also changed his demeanor and became more fixated on getting a search warrant for the house instead of the unlawful protective sweep.
I'm trying to look for cooperation, look for a specific weapon. If it's not there, great.
Don't touch me again.
If you know, if you want to talk to him, see if there's anything that he wants to do with us, great. If not, we'll just secure the way we're at now. but we're not going to let anybody go back in the residence until we have a search warrant, because very well could be weapons inside, and he's actually admitted there's other weapons inside.
You know, I have to protect my client's constitutional rights.
No, I get it. I totally understand. Yep. If somebody has this weapon and they're willing to escort us to it and get it, great. You know,
there is no weapon they're talking about in this premises.
If there is no weapon, then I understand that also. But we can't just say, you know, somebody says somebody did the same thing to you.
So anybody can call and say, hey, this guy has a gun.
Things seemed to head in a perfect direction, as now the officers had to wait for a warrant. But then suddenly, Bob encountered another problem, which he discusses with the attorney.
So they're looking for a gun, and there is a bomb in the trunk of the car.
Okay.
I mean, they're going to get a warrant to search for a gun. So anything outside of the gun is nothing, right?
They can take it, right? That's all?
Unfortunately, if they get a warrant to search the car, I believe they can press charges for something else being found in the vehicle.
What if we just let them search it and all they find is a bomb?
It's going to be up to their discretion on whether
I will move to that shit and smash it right now, and what can they do about it?
They can charge you. All right, go ahead.
Knowing that his daughter had some marijuana in the car, Bob allowed the officers to search it as a goodwill gesture. He hoped that they would overlook the marijuana and focus solely on the weapon, which was not there.
So you know, like, just because they're going to apply for a warrant doesn't mean that they're going to be successful in getting one.
We're just looking for a large pistol with an extended magazine. So that's it. Okay?
Okay. Look at the car. Really? No gun in it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why the caller's adamant that she saw.
That's because we were reporting them because they had a bat. Like, they were literally waving the bat out the window. Like, pull over.
A bat?
Yeah.
Like a baseball?
A baseball bat, yeah.
If I was more certain that somebody could have snuck the gun into the house, we would get a search warrant for the house. But
That's the only way you're entering the house.
These guys are saying, what's that?
It's the only way you're going to enter the house.
Right. No, I get that. And I'm not here to, you know, flex on you or anything like that. Okay. But if my guys would have said, yeah, somebody carried a bag inside or something. But under the circumstances at that point, I don't think we are gonna search the house. I don't like to sell your attorney on the phone right now.
The gesture paid off. The officers ended their search and dropped a plan to get a warrant for the house. To top it off, they reviewed a video that Bob's daughter had recorded, clearly showing the other party brandishing the gun.
It's not that, again, whenever we have a call that involves a firearm, we have to use caution. 14.
It sounds like everything's wrapping up there. Is that correct?
It is. For now, I'll let you go for now. If anything else happens, I'll push the button again.
Okay.
Shortly after, Sergeant Good and his officers left the scene without issuing any ticket or causing any more trouble to Bob and his family, all thanks to the incredible lawyer. And things were not any different in this traffic stop where this cop was owned and humbled.
You choose not to talk to me this time?
Sir, you do not have to answer any questions asked by the police. You have a constitutional right protecting you from self-incrimination.
In May of 2024, a driver was pulled over for speeding and immediately opened a turning shield as the officer approached. This ensured that he didn't have to speak directly to the cop and had legal support on the spot.
You should not know I was going to pull you over.
Hi, I'm Attorney Giovanna Delgado.
I got that, but I'm dealing with you. Do you speak English or do you need an interpreter? Okay, so here's the deal. I have you moving at high rate of speed. Do you know what speed limit is?
Ma'am, you don't need to answer any questions.
But I'm talking to you. Is this your driver's license? Is this not your driver's license? Do you choose not to talk to me this time?
Sir, you do not have to answer any questions asked by the police. You have a constitutional right protecting you from self-incrimination.
I have you speeding. I have you moving at a high rate of speed. I have you on camera. It's up to you on what you want to do. I will suggest next time that when you do see lights, don't cut over right away. Let's give traffic a little bit of time, and then let's move all the way over to the shoulder, shall we? All right, so I have you at 77 and 60, and you'll be receiving a citation for that today. Thank you.
Unsurprisingly, these officers are afraid to speak to a real attorney. They know that their lies would be exposed instantly.
Sorry we didn't get connected quicker.
No, it just happened. He was pretty quick at getting out of his car.
Okay. Because someone else is in the car with you, like, this isn't a protected communication, but I just want you to know that you have rights to not answer questions, which it seems like you do know that because you weren't answering the officer's questions. What did he say he pulled you over for?
Speeding 77 in a whatever speed limit 60.
Okay.
He didn't even ask for my insurance. He was more distracted with you.
The officer did not say much once he realized he had an attorney present on the scene. Pretty hard for an officer to intimidate a citizen knowing that he had legal representation.
All right, do you speak English? Ma'am, does he speak English?
He does speak English, sir.
All right, do you understand English? That's all I need to know. All right, here's your driver's license back. So why after you give me a citation for 77 and 60, I'm back at his phone number, get a phone number call. If you wish to contest, set up a court date, otherwise they'll let you know how to take care of it. I understand that you're not paying attention to me at this time. I'm going to just assume that all the information on here, because you're not talking to me, is correct as far as where you do live. So I'm going to need you to take this from me, and then you do need to get off the video chat while you're driving in the state of Minnesota, because you can't be on an electrical device like that, okay? If there's any questions, you do need to take this from me, sir.
You would please, ma'am?
Sir, you should.
It's up to you.
You can take.
You sure get speed move, feel safe to do so. This isn't court right now. I am talking to you as a driver. Again, she's not the one driving. What I need you to do is use the shoulder, get up to speed, move over when you feel it's safe to do so.
It sounds like that was the end of the interaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
The attorney assured that this was a straightforward stop, else we know how things can go with these tyrant cops. Well, this wasn't the only time that an attorney arrived in the courtroom and completely owned a cop.
By your theory, you wouldn't be able to arrest him on a kidnapping charge too.
Well, it's not my theory, it's the code.
In November of 2024, a man named Trevor appeared in Judge David Fleischer's court after being charged with carrying marijuana and a weapon in his car. The judge then laid out the details of the case.
You're Trevor Flores.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Flores, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Judge.
Okay.
Officers initiated a traffic stop after observing the defendant cross several lanes while failing to signal and almost causing a collision. Upon contact, the officers observed an odor of marijuana. The officers asked the defendant to step out of the vehicle and asked whether the defendant had the marijuana inside. The defendant admitted he did have marijuana inside, as well as a firearm. During the search of the vehicle, the officers found a handgun in plain view on the driver's side floorboard, not in holster. And the officers also located 13 grams of marijuana under the passenger seat.
Got it. All right, Mr. Flores, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case.
As Trevor did not have an attorney, the court appointed one for him, and he arrived a few hours later to defend him. Now, you might wonder that he couldn't have done anything in a few hours, but this lawyer came up with an amazingly strong point.
He's charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon following a traffic stop, and I've got a map that is kind of intriguing. I think you'll find just with the way it's drawn. But he stopped by an officer with the City of Bel Air Police Department, and may I approach to just show you this delineation. Pulled over going northbound on 610 as he, what is described as, makes an unsafe lane change. So he's northbound on 610, wants to get on 59 to go southbound, is erroneously in the wrong lane going northbound. The officer says that she observes him, makes that unsafe lane change, and that lane change is outside of the City of Bel Air Police Department jurisdiction.
The defense attorney had noticed a crucial flaw in the stop made by the officer earlier, and he made sure to press on to the unlawful nature of the stop.
Now, we have a particular statute that governs whether officers can have the authority to make a detention of someone when they are outside of their jurisdiction, and that's 14.03 of
their PD can still stop someone outside of Bel Air.
Well, not for, well, according to the code, it says a peace officer.
That would mean that any officer outside would never be able to do anything.
No, that's incorrect. There's a very limited exception, and that's what applies in this case. So it says a peace officer who's licensed and is outside of the officer's jurisdiction may arrest without a warrant a person who commits any offense within the officer's presence or view, other than a violation of Subtitle C, Title 7 of the Transportation Code.
The code clearly states that a police officer cannot make a traffic stop outside of the city's jurisdiction. And just like that, the entire case should be thrown in the bin.
But when it's for a traffic offense, that officer is required.
He's not arresting him for a traffic offense, though.
Well, that was the basis for the stop.
Sure.
And But the way the code contemplates arrest, it's any, and that's defined in, I think, in chapter 15. And so this officer doesn't have the ability where that stop takes place to make that detention. That officer could detain him if he saw him committing theft, could detain him if he saw him committing an assault, can't for a transportation code
But
violation.
he stops him for whatever reason it is, right? Comes up to the car and he smells.
Yes.
Right?
Well,
and then
that's
don't they even get a drug sniffing dog? Is this the one where they get a drug sniffing dog?
It is refreshing to see a court-appointed lawyer put in the effort, present a solid case, and back it up with thorough research. This attorney definitely deserves a raise as he's left the judge with plenty of tough questions.
My focus is solely the detention. I'm not...
It's certainly crafty. It's great. But he's not arresting him for the traffic offense.
Well, but I think we're looking at a limited scope of what arrest means. So I think you're looking at arrest as in being arrested.
You would be saying that really if he had committed an ag rob, right, or kidnapping, then even if he had kidnapped, like let's say he had a 2-year-old child in the car that he had kidnapped across state lines. Well, then according to this, because he's in a different jurisdiction, then you couldn't arrest him on that kidnapping charge too.
If he saw a kidnapping taking place, the officer could arrest him under that code. But what he can't do is when there's a traffic code violation, we don't allow for example, the El Paso Police Department to come to Houston and then sit on the street corner and arrest people for traffic violations. We don't allow them to make those stops. And that's what's at issue here.
Judge Fleischer acknowledged the attorney's impressive effort and his argument significantly delayed, if not completely eliminated, the possibility of a sentence for his client.
He's a peace officer who's outside of his jurisdiction, able to enforce the traffic code.
I know where you're going and I've seen it before, but I'm not.
And we're looking at G1. So what it says in there is 5600, 610 northbound. And what's so curious about this is...
That's still in Bel Air? Is it outside of Bel Air?
That would be outside of Bel Air too.
I can't make that determination now.
Fair enough.
Number two,
yes,
he's not arresting him on a traffic offense.
Well, and I think what the code contemplates when it says arrest, and I think there's case law on this, is that it includes the concept of detention as that's been... Because I think when that code was written...
And so what I'm saying would apply as well, though. Like if he catches a 2-year-old kid, right, that's been kidnapped, by your theory, he wouldn't be able to arrest him on a kidnapping charge too.
Well, it's not my theory, it's the code.
If he has a dead body in the car, he wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, that's a legislature question. And I mean, but they wrote that...
I can't imagine that the legislature intended that. I think that they intended for a traffic, let's say for speeding.
The judge tried to dismiss it as just the attorney's theory, but the lawyer quickly set the record straight, delivering a brilliant response that ultimately owned the judge.
Your tail light is out. Yeah, not to arrest in that respect. But he goes up to the car, smells marijuana, sees a gun in plain view. I can't imagine the legislature intended in that purpose.
And my position, of course, is that, this may be for a motion to suppress later down the line, and I think there's still plenty more to do in the case.
It's a freaking awesome argument.
Well, but the idea
I love
is...
the wonderful.
No right to detain him.
Right? Really?
Well, once again, the judge was more than impressed by the attorney and claimed that he would look into the argument. Now that brings us to the end of this video. Today we saw cases where corrupt cops were humiliated by knowledgeable attorneys. Lawyers are one of the few people these officers truly fear because they know their ignorance of the law will be exposed for everyone to see. And that is exactly what happened today. If you agree with me, please support us by liking this video. And if you enjoyed this video, watch how these cops made the worst discoveries of their lives.
Put your hands up here. You're not going to jail. You understand that?
Next, this motorist knew the law better than the clueless cop, who was about to be completely shut down.
I did not break the law.
All right, can I see your license, registration, insurance?
Okay, what is your cause for pulling me over and asking for my information?
There is no shortage of cops who lack basic knowledge of the law and end up getting schooled by individuals. Today, we'll look at cases where these clueless officers messed with the wrong person and quickly found out. In August of 2019, an individual was riding his motorcycle in Ramona, California when a state trooper pulled him over for a particularly absurd reason. Man, you can't be passing on the right like that, dude. You want to split lanes, but you can't pass on the right.
Does it say that in the statute?
Statute of what?
For lane splitting, lane sharing.
Yeah, you can't pass on the right, bro. It's
okay. Does it say that in this lane sharing statute?
I don't know what the lane sharing statute is.
So the rules governing.
There's not 2 lanes. So if there's 2 lanes, so let's just say.
I'm gonna reach for my phone. Don't get. Hey, come here for a second. This is the DMV website. California law does not allow or prohibit motorcycles from passing other vehicles proceeding in the same direction within the same lane. Within the same lane. Has nothing to do with 2 lanes. I was within the same lane. I wasn't past the white line.
All right, I'm not gonna argue, man. Can you read that again? I'm sorry.
Sure. Well, here, you read it right there. California law does not allow or prohibit, that means I'm allowed to do it, from passing other vehicles proceeding in the same direction within the same lane. A practice often called lane splitting, lane sharing, or filtering. Lane sharing.
Trooper Parody had no idea that he was dealing with someone well versed in statutes and the law. Shockingly, instead of admitting his mistake and letting the motorcyclist go, he escalated the situation further.
Can I see your license, registration, insurance?
Okay, what is your cause for pulling me over and asking for my information?
Man, unsafe passing within the lane, dude.
No, I'm just showing you the law.
Bro, listen to me. I'm not here to argue with you. I just need your license, registration, insurance, okay?
Okay, and I'm asking you for what purpose?
I just told you, because you're passing vehicles within the same lane on the right.
That's allowed.
Safe passing on the right. I'm not talking about lane splitting. You're not splitting lanes. You're passing vehicles on the right.
Okay, this literally just says lane sharing.
I'm talking about that. I'm talking about splitting lanes on the right. You're not allowed to pass vehicles on the right.
The California's lane splitting laws clearly indicated that he had not committed a crime and was not obliged to hand over his documents, but something about this learning had hurt the officer's ego.
In order for you to ask me for that information, I have to have broken the law, correct?
Correct.
Okay, great, thank you, great, okay, this is being recorded. So, if I have to provide you my information, I want to know what law I broke, because I clearly just showed to you, this is from the California DMV.
Oh.
You are misinterpreting and misunderstanding the law, man.
There's also a law that says you cannot pass unsafely on the right.
Okay, so I have this on tape. Show me where I passed unsafely.
I will. Let me see your license, registration, and...
So, again, what law did I break?
Let me explain it to you, okay?
You're going to explain it different than the law.
You know the law.
No, I can read English.
Okay. All right, well, I can too. So let me explain my interpretation of lane splitting.
Okay, your interpretation as opposed to facts.
Okay. Facts, lanes, whatever you want to call it, man. Let me explain to you what I consider lane splitting. If you've got 2 lanes or more, all right?
Which doesn't say here, right?
If you've got 2 lanes or more,
okay,
in one direction, and you go in between the lanes, whether you're in the lane to the right or the left.
Parody was adamant that the motorcyclist had broken the law, and what should have ended long ago was about to turn into a long and meaningless altercation.
The thing is, right, and where you're wrong, okay, that's your interpretation of it. That's not what the black and white says. And look, take your glasses off and I'm gonna get off my bike, is that all right? Within the same lane. It has nothing to do with 2 lanes.
Yeah, lane splitting though. We're not talking about lane splitting here.
Hey, I'm talking about what the law says.
But you're looking at this as lane splitting. There's no 2 lanes to split, my man. You understand that? There are no 2 lanes to be splitting here.
Okay, so show me right there where it says it has to be 2 lanes.
Bro, are you splitting lanes?
I'm sharing. Hold on.
Sharing the lane.
Yes, look, right there as it says, lane sharing.
Right.
Sharing.
While you're splitting lanes.
No.
Bro, you're looking at the DMV web. There's vehicle code. Okay. Vehicle code. Let me look it up and I'll explain it to you better.
Okay.
How's that sound, man?
All right, I'll tell you what. Why don't you look it up? I got time. I'm my own boss. All right. Why don't you look it up? And if I broke the law, not your interpretation of it, if you need to get a sergeant or somebody else here, do so. I'll gladly hand you my information.
Realizing he was getting nowhere with his limited understanding of the law, the trooper asked for time to review it and called his sergeant for backup. Meanwhile, the motorcyclist continued schooling him.
Hey, here's some more clarification for you, okay? Sorry, I didn't mean to touch it. All right, AB 51, into law, which define lane splitting as driving a motorcycle as 2 wheels in contact with the ground between rows of stop or moving vehicles in the same lane. Doesn't matter. I can be in the same lane as long as did you see me over the white line at all?
On the shoulder, no.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
thank you.
Exactly, yeah. Hey, so Dude, I'm reading the vehicle code.
Hold on. Yep. AB 51, which
I'm reading the vehicle code, man. So, first of all, before we even get there, man, my intention of stopping you was because it was for safety issues, right? I mean, you're passing cars on the right. If a vehicle had to slam on the brakes and turn right and they hit you, whatever. Just like you're splitting lanes, right?
Yep. While speaking with his sergeant on the phone, Parody was instructed not to issue a ticket and to end the stop. However, even this didn't stop the officer from continuing his attempts at intimidation.
But reading the law, it is not clearly stated as far as whether or not you could be passing on the right in one lane or two. All right, so I just called my supervisor.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, dude, I don't know anything about that because I never write it because it's not clearly written in law.
Sure.
Right? Well, it's not.
No, except it is.
Well, except it doesn't clarify whether or not you're allowed to pass. Well, it says in the same lane, but lane splitting. Well, just hear me out.
Go ahead.
Lane splitting in my interpretation, okay? Lane splitting is you got two or more lanes in the same direction and you're going in between the lanes, right? But the law says within two or more rows of traffic in the same lane.
The trooper began blaming the statutes, claiming that they were unclear. At this point, he seemed willing to do anything to avoid admitting he was wrong and letting the individual go.
Correct me if I'm wrong, both of you, right? In order for you to ask me for my ID, I have to have committed a crime, correct? You can't just walk up, hold on, let's answer this right. You can't just walk up to somebody and say, give me your ID, right? We don't live in a police state. You guys are meant to enforce the law.
Okay.
So I have to have committed a crime in order for you to give me your ID, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that's the first thing. That's why I'm arguing. I don't want to argue with you about, whether I have to give you my ID, because I know I don't have to. So and I'm going to use this term because that's what it is, and it's not a negative infliction upon you or anybody else. There's a difference between stupidity and ignorance. I'm ignorant of a great many things. I'm not a brain surgeon, so I don't know anything about it. But ignorance of this specific statute as it applies in California, it says same lane. I know what you're saying. That's what the general public thinks. It is poorly written. They tried to do something about it. CHP had guidelines on it that were removed because people had questions and didn't understand what the law actually says.
Yeah.
The individual turned out to be an active duty Navy officer with an impressive command of California law, an example that every citizen could learn from.
My intention was never to actually give you a ticket.
Then why did you ask me for my registration and insurance?
Because I have to document all my contacts. Okay, I have to document my contacts.
If I broke the law?
Well,
you have my info. It's right there on my plate.
So you're not getting a ticket, but initially my interpretation was that you were breaking the law, but you're not getting a ticket. All I'm asking is for your identification so I can record my stop with you.
You've got a recording of it.
All right, man.
You've got a dash cam.
Whatever,
no, what do you mean whatever?
It's all good. You don't have. It's all good.
You're right. I don't. So I'm asking you though. Did I break the law today? Yes or no?
Yeah. Like I just explained to you. Originally, my interpretation was yes, you did. But now reading the section, and it's not clearly stated.
The situation had become almost comical, as the trooper, despite acknowledging that no law was broken, still refused to let the motorcyclist go.
I know you guys got a job to do, but this is frustration. He clearly read it. I haven't violated the law. I've got it on camera. Hey, you guys have a tough job, trust me, I get it. I'm getting some chapstick. You said yourself it's hot, okay? Come on.
Just so we understand, my probable cause to stop you is because you were passing vehicles on the right.
Right,
All right.
Which is not against the law.
Trooper Parody's behavior exemplifies exactly how a law enforcement officer should not operate. He hid behind the guise of public safety while completely disregarding the law.
Yeah.
I'm simply asking you if you have a license. You say, yes, you do in another state, but you can't provide that information to me.
Again, tell me what law I broke that caused this stop to begin with.
I just did, sir. I just did.
No.
And now I'm asking for some identification. And you say that you have a license, but you don't want to provide that information.
Sure. If you pulled me over for a valid stop, which right now we've already established this isn't a valid stop. You went back.
The stop is valid, man. The stop, it's a valid stop.
No, it's not.
It's a valid stop.
You just
You're
said
passing
yourself.
cars on the right.
Yes, that's not against the law.
On the right.
It's not against the law.
Hey, in my opinion, it's unsafe passing vehicles on the right, whether it's lane splitting or not. You're not getting a ticket for that. All I'm asking for is for some ID.
The trooper surely needs a reality check, and someone should tell him that the law doesn't work according to his opinion. Shortly after, 4 officers surrounded the motorcyclist, and it is still unknown what law he broke.
I'm just telling you what I got right now. Right now, I have you're riding a motorcycle, and you don't have a license in California.
Yep.
So, is the vehicle going to get towed, or are you going to provide me with your information?
I'll tell you what. If you want to tow it, then we can end up in court.
Okay.
That's fine. Go for it. Get a supervisor here. Get somebody else here. I'll call my lawyer. Right. Because you're not. You already know who I am. What information do you want? Well, hey,
all you do is show me your license, man.
No, I don't. I don't have to show you my license. What crime did I commit? What crime did I commit?
We're done here, brother.
Great. So 4 officers, all these resources for a crime that never got committed. And you learned something. Hey, man, you guys stay safe. Have a good day.
After going back and forth for almost 30 minutes, the trooper did something which he should have done instantly, letting the Navy guy go without any trouble. Shockingly, to avenge on this humbling, the officer ended up contacting his command officer and told him about the incident. Talk about being petty. Now, while this arrogant cop was left humiliated, this woman officer also had plenty to learn.
Did you learn anything today, ma'am?
I learned a lot today.
Yeah? That's good.
In December of 2020, First Amendment Auditor NC Tyrant Hunter was filming outside a private building of Micro Measurements Group when a couple of employees came out trying to intimidate him and stop him from filming the public place.
Who are you?
Who are you?
I can't hear you, man.
Who are you?
Just a guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything we can help you guys with?
Yeah, I'd like some coffee.
Coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. That'd be great, man. Maybe a bagel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you some issue and you guys needed help with something.
No, I think we pretty grown. I think we can take care of ourselves.
Alrighty.
Yeah. That coffee, I need 5 sugars and 2 creams.
Alrighty.
Yeah. How'd that work out for you? Not too good.
The auditor firmly stood his ground, causing the employees to leave the scene. However, they called 911 and a female officer arrived. Unfortunately, she appeared to be just as uninformed about the law as the employees.
What are you out here doing?
What's your name and badge number?
Officer Akins. We don't have badge numbers.
Employee number? ID number?
Officer Akins.
Officer Akins, you got a card?
I can get you one, yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, the manager of this facility pretty much called us. Hi, how are you? They said that y'all aren't supposed to be out here.
Not supposed to be on the side of the road?
Technically, this right here, this is their property.
No, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
No.
Yes, sir.
No.
Okay.
Okay, get the supervisor, please.
Yes, sir.
Right on.
The auditor called for a supervisor, hoping he would bring some sort of justice. Meanwhile, cops kept ganging up on him, but he refused to stop filming, as per his constitutional right.
So you check on
That works for me. So the manager here called, so they're out here filming. Technically, this right here is their property. They're asking for a supervisor or captain or somebody. I let them know that this is still their property, it's private property. They can't be right here. And they wanted a supervisor. They said I was wrong. That's what
Yeah, well, she's fixing to learn something. A free education today. Two people filming on the side of the road. Huh? That's crazy.
It was absurd how many officers responded to such a minor issue. Shortly after, the supervisor arrived and gave the female officer an unforgettable lesson on the law and citizens' rights.
How you guys doing?
What's up?
I'm ready y'all from last year.
Can I get your name and ID number?
John Slaughter. We don't have ID numbers, so.
I hear
So you guys just out here filming?
I see it, man.
Okay.
And she's trying to tell she needs to learn where the damn easement is, man. You're a rookie?
No, she's not a rookie.
Yeah, we don't come out here unless we know what we're doing.
Okay.
You already know. I think you know that, but she knows it now.
is right at the end of that sign, just this side of it.
Are y'all doing a commercial?
Well, we're doing an investigative story.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And now y'all in it, so.
See where this is washed out like that?
Did you learn anything today, ma'am?
If somebody pulls off
I learned a lot today.
Yeah? That's good. I mean, that's why we do this, for educational purposes.
I guess I need to.
It is. I'm not trying to make you look.
Yeah, you guys go right ahead.
You know what I mean? I'm not trying to make you look like a fool or anything, but that's why we do what we do.
The female officer had been proven wrong by her own boss, and it didn't take long for her to apologize. It's always great to see these tyrants back off, and this brave auditor had these officers learning a lot.
Yeah, as long as you guys don't block the road.
Nah, we got it, baby. We got it, man. We got all that. You know that.
Last year. Where did we see you at?
I don't think you guys specifically talked to me, but I remember you guys going to town hall and the police department.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. But that's why, you know, I mean, that's what we do. We don't trespass. We don't do anything illegal. And now this gentleman knows, this one, she knows for sure that, you know, can't make us move off of a county property.
And even if they paid for it still belongs to the state.
Well, I mean, what do you guys want to do? This is what y'all enjoy.
Yeah, he knows that, man. He knows that.
That's what y'all want.
He just don't want to make her look bad. That's what he's doing.
Well, no, she called me to come out here and help out.
Because I asked for you. That's why she did. She was about to do something really bad. If I hadn't asked for a supervisor, she would have probably said, okay, you're under arrest and all, you know, the whole nine. But I asked for you specifically in the hopes that you did know where we was at and we could be right here.
Guys, you guys have a good time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Soon the officers left the scene and auditors continued to film for a little while before heading back home. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. Today we saw cases where idiot police officers were humbled and humiliated by these individuals who had a great grip on the law. It is surely shocking to see how some law enforcement officers don't even know the basics of the law, as they were humbled and taken apart. If you agree, please support us by liking this video. Also, if you enjoyed this video, watch the moments where these dads took these cops to the cleaners.
Arrest him. For blocking the roadway.
This guy's arresting me for just standing here, and now he's taking my phone away.